help us to unravel the facts that culminated to the complaint and why we are here. The next and final aspect that I think we should look at are the terms of reference, because it is this context that I've mentioned very briefly that seem to have culminated in the terms of reference. Madam Batohi.
That's correct.
I will just briefly counsel, just raised few aspects in the terms of reference quickly, very briefly, so that when you lead the witness, she will help us understand those issues arising from the terms of reference. And might I say, Advocate Batohi, although this is not a prosecutorial process, it seems to me that the terms of reference are akin to a charge or indictment in a criminal case. Is my understanding correct?
Chairperson, broadly I would agree, but it's not restricted to that, because I think the terms of reference say, I don't have it in front of me, but it's not limited to. That's my understanding.
Yes. Let's look at the term as they are, and I'm just juxtaposing the terms of reference with what we normally refer to the indictment in a criminal prosecution.
I understand.
Not that we are in that zone.
I understand, Chairperson.
Am I correct, though?
Yes, that is so.
So if the terms of reference gives us the essence of the charge, for the lack of a better word, I call it a charge, we should actually zoom into the charge itself, the terms of reference, so that we can unravel all the facts that we seem to establish. That will make us understand why we are here. So quickly, if you look at the terms of reference, I think they can borrow you a copy. Your junior advocate can assist you and give you the terms of reference, the copy of the terms of reference. Okay, my clerk is behind you. He's going to give you, help you there. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, if you look at the terms of reference, and Advocate Mutlamunyane, please indulge me.
I have, Madam Chair, in my heart.
I'm raising these things because we are working together to unravel all the facts that are relevant to the issues before us. And I'm doing so briefly so that we can have a structured understanding of what the evidence is. Now, if you look at paragraph 3 of the terms of reference, 3.1, maybe you can start reading from 3. It refers to the fitness of Advocate Chauke to hold office, and we are expected to inquire into his conduct. Now, 3.1 talks about his direct or indirect conduct regarding those two matters. The first is 3.1.1. It reads, the institution of the racketeering charges. I'm more interested in that concept, the institution of the racketeering charges, whether he, Advocate Chauke, instituted the racketeering charges, be it directly or indirectly. I would like to understand that. If you can clear that aspect for me. And then when you go to the 3.1, it suggests that, or rather the allegations are that Advocate Chauke supported a decision to prosecute in the Katumena matter. The second one is that he recommended to Advocate Jiba that the certificate should be issued. It is that recommendation that we need to understand very clearly, at least for me, whether it constitutes an illegality or an unlawfulness. Because remember in paragraph 142 of your affidavit, you refer to the unlawfulness of his conduct. 3.1.1.3, it is alleged that Advocate Chauke sought to defend the institution of the racketeering charges in the review proceedings. I'm keen to understand the impropriety of that alleged conduct. And the next one, 3.1.1.4, is that he, Advocate Chauke, instituted an appeal against the judgment of Judge Govan. Also there, to clear my mind, I need to understand the unlawfulness of that aspect, or the alleged unlawfulness of that aspect. So I am mentioning these matters before we deal with the Mdluli matter, so that we can wrap up this chapter properly to know where we come from and where we are going to. Otherwise, we're going to lose focus. I may not have captured everything. I will ask my sisters if they have any comment to add to what I've raised. If not, then you can proceed, Council, if that structure can help us at least to understand the context of this very issue of the Boyson's matter. Thank you, Advocate. Maybe before you start, I hope that I've made myself clear, Advocate Batohi.
Yes, absolutely, Chairperson.
The concerns that I have, so far as we have gone, because it doesn't appear that we have really gone to the crux of the matter to understand the illegality or the unlawfulness of his conduct, if any. So somebody must explain to us so that we can understand the charges correctly, and also to understand the evidence or facts underpinning those charges. I thank you. Proceed, Council. You may proceed. Kate Halley, good morning, welcome. We got your apology.
Thank you very much. I did intend to advise you last week of my intention to appear before the court this morning. Unfortunately, it was unavoidable.
Your junior did extend your apology to us, and we understand.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You may begin, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We, in fact, are going to proceed to lead evidence that will deal with the terms of reference. And in so doing, Advocate Batohi will refer to Dr. Broughton's supplementary opinion and its accompanying documents. We will, in so doing, be doing cross-references to certain documents that are particularly important in order to unravel what exactly we are alleging that Advocate Chauke has done. At the beginning, Madam Chair and your fellow sisters, I will refer, before she gives testimony on particular aspects, to the terms of reference, and as and when we proceed, I will indicate yet again as to which paragraph in the terms of reference a particular aspect pertains to. In the course of her evidence, she will also, to some degree, refer back to what has already been on record without necessarily elongating on what has already been testified upon. And Advocate Batohi, go to page 66 of your affidavit. Where, as Madam Chair has correctly pointed out, the essence of the allegations against Advocate Chauke are dealt with. Now, you will remember that we will deal with paragraph in the main, 156, together with its subparagraphs. It has 4 subparagraphs. And to begin, let me refer you to LO4 bundle, specifically page 1011, Madam Chair and your sisters. LO01011. Are you there?
If you just pardon me.
L04 is the bundle. The page is LO 1011, which contains some exchanges of emails between Advocate Chauke and Advocate Cyril Molocho. Are you there, Advocate Batohi?
I am.
Let us go to LO4 on page LO 01012, in other words, 1012. Are you there?
I am.
There is an email which has been sent to Cyril Molocho. Do you see that?
I do.
Can you explain the email?
Yes, I can. So, Chairperson, perhaps to place this into context so that the panel understands how this came before me, very briefly, I had obtained opinions of Advocate Nalane initially, and it is referred to in my affidavit under the process leading up to the referral. And then that was sent to Advocate Chauke. He obtained the opinion of Advocate Maineche. And thereafter, because of certain gaps that were identified, I asked Dr. Broughton, who is a legal advisor in my office, to look into the matter and look at all of the evidence so that the gaps are then addressed and provide me with an opinion. He did so, and his supplementary, he gave me two opinions. The first one, I don't have the, I thought I would be led on this so that we could get the context in, but it's the first supplementary opinion and the second one. They are referred to in my bundle. Chairperson, what I'm going to refer to now was in fact the evidence that he provided to me when he provided his supplementary opinion to me, and then attached a whole lot of annexures that support or the evidence with regard to the opinion that he provided. So I think it's important for the panel to understand the context of how this came before me so that I can explain in sequence.
When you say he, you are referring to Dr. Broughton.
That is correct. And perhaps the evidence leader will give you the, at some point, his, the reference to his opinion, which is in the bundle, together with all the annexures. And this is forms part of that bundle, Chairperson. I may then proceed to answer the question.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, so this, what we're referring to now, at page 112, for clarity, Chairperson, the email chain starts from page 112 and then continues backwards to 1011. So you read from 112 to 111 for clarity, Chairperson. So the first email is 12th of June 2012, sent from Mamiki Suping, who is the personal assistant of Advocate Chauke. And the evidence will show that the subject line is indictment, Cato Manor, that certain documents were sent to Cyril Molocho. Now, Cyril Molocho, Advocate Molocho, at the time was the acting DPP.
I think that's better. I think we can refer to him as Advocate Mlochwa.
Sure, thank you,
I
Chair.
had Advocate Mhlamunyane referring him to Cyril, and I didn't know who is the Cyril. So it has helped us.
My apologies.
Let's address people properly.
Chairperson, Advocate Malochwa was at the time the acting DPP in KwaZulu-Natal. So Advocate Chauke's PA forwards to him certain documents. Thereafter, you have if you turn over to page 1011, at the bottom, the second email in that chain is one from Advocate Malochwa to Advocate Chauke. And he states the following: Dear Advocate Chauke, our telephonic conversation today refers, kindly furnish me with the prosecutor's memo or report so that I can have a wraparound view of the matter. The report must also have the police stations and CAS numbers so that we can open the DPP's file. Thank you in advance. From that, it appears that at some point before this email was sent, there was a telephonic conversation between Advocate Malochwa and Advocate Chauke, and my understanding from the evidence leader is that Advocate Malochwa will in likelihood be called. Chairperson, in response to that email, we go still on 111, LO 1011. Advocate Chauke responds on the same day to Advocate Malochwa and states, I'm not sure that I need to read the entire document, but perhaps I will read a few parts from it, but if the panel wishes the entire document, I'm happy to do that. Dear Advocate Malochwa, who is the prosecutor that you are referring to? I have forwarded you the indictment, which has all the detailed summary by which you ought to be in a position to open your file. I also forwarded to you details of the inquest with the police CAS numbers to which you referred to Advocate Toko Majokweni for reasons that I do not follow and understand. The indictment with respects gives you the whole view of the matter. And I emphasize that the indictment with respect gives you the whole view of the matter. He then goes on to say, you are kindly and fervently requested to please discuss any issues, if any, with me. I really do not see any need for me to give you any report other than that which I have forwarded to you already. And this is important as well. It should become clear. Please, if I misunderstand you, make me understand. I do not want to play you or undermine your jurisdictional authority in any way whatsoever. It then proceeds, Chairperson, he then on the next paragraph says, I've also learnt with utter dismay that you have now issued an instruction to senior prosecutors that all dockets that are with us must be brought to you. What is not happening here, my brother? Please, if you have any issue again, talk to me or arrange that we see the acting national director urgently, and that would be Advocate Jiba. And he then goes on to raise a concern. He states, another concern to me is the delay in you issuing the instruction of reopening the inquest in view of the fact that you have been requested to sign the indictment, which must be preceded by your decision to reopen the inquest. If this makes you uncomfortable, please indicate so I may urgently take the matter up with the acting NDPP as well as the minister, and I emphasize that as well, for reasons that will become clear later. I do not want to step on your toes in the last paragraph. I was informed that you agreed and arranged with the acting NDPP for someone from outside to do the prosecution of these matters. If you now have a change of heart, please indicate so that we may resolve it as soon as possible. That is the end of the letter.
Now, Advocate Batohi, we will later refer to these exchanges here. But for now, go to paragraph 60 in bundle LO1 on page
60
Sorry,
or 16?
sorry, Advocate.
I beg your
Before Advocate Batohi steps off this letter, she read the letter, but at paragraph 2, she skipped a line, and I'm not sure whether it's not supposed to be in the record, but I think it is important when we quote someone, we quote the whole thing, unless if we feel it is not important. In paragraph 2, line 3, the sentence that starts with "there are."
If I may, Chairperson, yes, I had not intended to read the whole thing, but perhaps and I went on and read most of it. So perhaps I will just add paragraph 2, the last sentence, or third line. There are serious issues of security in this matter, which if necessary you will be briefed about, which are not relevant to you, and I cannot expose you to such at this stage. I think I read the rest of the letter completely, except for that. Thank you, panel.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Baloyi-Mere. Advocate Batohi, go to LO1 on page LO00266. Two 00266. Therein you will find
266.
yes, 266 is a witness statement of Advocate Andrew Chauke, which was before the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption and fraud in the public service, including organs of state, colloquially known as State Capture Commission. It starts on page 243. Do you see that?
Yes.
Go to paragraph 60 and read it into the record. 60, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you.
So, if I may proceed, Madam Chair.
Yes, you may proceed.
Proceed.
Paragraph 60 states as follows. Jiba requested me to assist with putting together a prosecution team which will guide members of the police and members of IPID, open brackets, in quotation marks, the Cato Manor team, close quote, close brackets, on the investigation and prosecution of the matters. I agreed to be the coordinator of the prosecution team. The prosecution team was comprised of the following advocates: 60.1 Advocate Maema, DDPP, in brackets team leader, in brackets Maema, Advocate KR Matenjwa, DDPP, co-team leader, Matenjwa, Senior State Advocate M. Ntlakaza in brackets, Senior State Advocate J. Mlochwa, J. Mlochwa in brackets, and Senior State Advocate F. Fuchane in brackets, and Senior State Advocate P. Moleko in brackets.
We know that Jiba is reference to the then acting director of public prosecutions.
Acting National Director.
Acting National.
of Prosecution.
Yes. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, go to the next page, which is
What is the relevance of this paragraph 60? Before we forget about it.
the relevance of paragraph 60, Madam Chair, has to do with the request that the acting National Director of Public Prosecutions made to Advocate Chauke to put up a team together that will go to KZN to deal with the Katomana incident.
Now, when you go back to the terms of reference, 3.1, does this aspect have any relevance I beg your pardon, let me finish. Does it have any relevance to the opening words in 3.1 of the terms of reference that Advocate Chauke directly or indirectly by his conduct instituted the racketeering charges? I mentioned that, Counsel, and please allow me to keep on going back and forth on the terms of reference, because we refer to the evidence without linking some of these allegations to the terms of reference. So if you can help me to understand the relevance of that paragraph in relation to the terms of reference themselves.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is my omission. Let me hasten to say paragraphs 3.1, 3.1.1, 3.1.1.1, 3.1.1.2, 3.1.1.3, and 3.1.1.4 for now are relevant not only to this paragraph 60 and 62, but are relevant to the evidence that will indicate Advocate Chauke's involvement in the prosecution of the Katomana police officers.
Would you like the witness to confirm what you are saying? Because it is her who must place that evidence before us.
Indeed, Madam Chair.
Do you confirm that, Advocate Batohi, what your Advocate Moshamayane has just placed before us?
Yes, Chairperson, if I may explain as well, that all the evidence has to be seen together because they explain what happened over a period of time and gives the full picture of what happened. So the evidence leaders started with the setting up of the team, and they will all speak to, I confirm, what is mentioned in paragraph 3, right in fact to 3.1.1.5, which is on page 7 of the terms of reference. So
yes, Councillor, I think let's just try to take it one step at a time, because what you are now saying is the broader picture, but we are addressing the essential terms of the, or rather the chapters of the terms of reference. But if you give such a broad overview, we will get lost. And if you can try to answer a pertinent question so that you don't give a long answer that takes us back and then we lose the focus. What I wanted you to confirm, so that it is not counsel who is kind of testing from the bar, then you say it yourself, because it is your affidavit that we are concerned with here. And what I wanted clarity from you is whether, in relation to the question that I posed to counsel, the very, very sub-paragraph of the terms of reference that seems to suggest that Advocate Chauke misbehaved And I would like us to understand the context relevant to that allegation in the terms of reference. And that's what he was saying to us, that all those paragraphs in the terms of reference, 3.1.1 to 3.1.4, are relevant, and paragraph 60 supports those allegations in the terms of reference. And I wanted to ascertain with you whether you confirm that. Perhaps, Counsel,
me look at whether-
you can just repeat to Advocate Batohi what you were saying in a simple way, the way you want to put it to her, so that we get this part of her evidence clearly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Advocate Batohi, if I take you back to paragraph 60 on this page here, page 266, would you confirm that what is stated there is pertinent to paragraph 3.1?
That is correct.
It's also pertinent to paragraph 3.1.1.1.
Well, Chairperson, I'm a little confused because paragraph 60 deals with the team that was set up. And if we look at the particular subparagraphs of 3.1, they relate to different aspects of Advocate Chauke's conduct. And so I'm a little confused about answering the question that paragraph 60, which simply deals with the team setup, how it links to each one of the subparagraphs that describe Advocate Chauke's conduct.
You remember, through you, Advocate Mutlamuyani, we zoomed into the terms of reference, 3.1. That talks about Advocate Chauke's direct or indirect conduct. And your Advocate Mutlamuyani took us to paragraph 60. That speaks to the role played by Advocate Chauke, if I may put it that way.
That's correct.
That is how he started getting involved in this matter.
That is correct, Chairperson.
So when you look at it in its sequence or chronologically, you start there. You start at the time when he was requested by the NDPP or acting NDPP then to do something. And this is where we are.
That's
paragraph
correct,
60. Did I capture it correctly, sir?
You did, Madam Chair. You did capture it correctly.
And remember, we are addressing that aspect of your affidavit, Advocate Batohi, paragraph 142, that speaks of the unlawfulness of Advocate Chauke's conduct.
Yes, that's correct, Chairperson.
That alleged unlawfulness that resulted, among other things, in you approaching the president.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now we are trying to get the factual metrics as we gather the evidence of that aspect, and then that we're trying to clarify.
We understand, Chairperson.
Yes.
And that's
yes,
what we
yes,
intend
ma'am.
to do.
Thank you.
Now, paragraph 60, Advocate Batohi, I indicated to you, has to do with paragraph 3.1, paragraph 3 rather, 3.1 and 3.1.1 of the terms of reference. Of course, as you correctly pointed out, it has to be read with the totality of the evidence that will follow.
Yes, it will speak to his role in, as we will explain as the evidence pans out, in terms of his role in connection with those subparagraphs in the terms of reference. That's correct, that you mentioned.
Thank you. You may proceed to the next page, which is LO00267, and read paragraph 62 together with its subparagraphs into the record.
Paragraph 62 reads as follows. My role as team coordinator was 62.1, deal with the logistics and administrative matters of the prosecution team. 62.2, ensuring coordination between the various stakeholders. 62.3, my involvement excluded taking prosecutorial decision whether to prosecute or not. 62.4, feedback and briefing on the team to JIBA, including the submission of documentation from the prosecution team. Chairperson, if I may at this point explain that paragraph 62.3 refers to taking prosecutorial decision whether to prosecute or not. My evidence will include the fact that a prosecutorial decision is not one that is limited on whether to prosecute or not, but there are various prosecutorial decisions that are taken in the course of the prosecution process.
Well, probably it's a matter of argument, but thank you for telling us what you are telling us.
Thank you, Chair.
But we do know from that paragraph 62, sub 3, Advocate Chauke is saying, I was involved, but my involvement excluded taking any prosecutorial decision.
That is correct, Chairperson.
That's the nub of his statement.
That is correct, Chairperson.
You may then proceed to paragraph 64 on the same page and read it into the record.
I beg your pardon, Counsel. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. And please correct me if I am missing something. That very aspect at paragraph 62.3 will probably take us to the statement or affidavit of Advocate Musing.
It will.
It will.
It will, Madam Chair, as and when we proceed.
Thank you. Please flag it so that we don't forget.
Yes, I will do so. If you may, Advocate Batohi, read into the record paragraph 64, and I will later refer you to paragraph 60, 95 and 96. But for the moment, read paragraph 64 into the record.
Paragraph 64 reads as follows. On 3rd May 2012, I attended a briefing with JIBA, during which it was arranged that the prosecution team brief her on the Cater matter on 18 May 2012. On 15 May 2012, I attended a meeting with the prosecution team to prepare for JIBA's briefing.
We are still on Advocate Chauke's affidavit that's served before the State Capture Commission, and go to page 273, LO 273, in this bundle LO1. Read paragraph 95, which ties to the one, which paragraph 60, which you read earlier.
paragraph 95.
Paragraph 95, Madam Chair.
Paragraph 95 reads, I have read the affidavit by Advocate C.S. Mlochwa dated 23 July 2015 under Silverton CAS, which is annexed to the Rule 3.3 notice. I refer to what is set out above with regard to how I came about to be involved in this matter as a coordinator of the prosecution team, and that the latter was giving briefing to the Advocate C.S. Mlochwa about the matters.
Will you confirm that this paragraph pertains to paragraph 3.1 of the TOR, terms of reference?
Yes.
Proceed to go to paragraph 96 on the same page and read it into the record.
I confirm that I had the email exchanges with Advocate C.S. Mlochwa. The issue was sorted out between me and him. I considered it resolved and did not take it any further. I held the view then, and even now, that he was sufficiently briefed by the prosecution team about the matters. I realized the omission of the memo, which I thought was part of the draft indictment, for which I apologized. This is borne out of the fact that he indeed received the memo and the indictment. I even indicated above with him and attended meetings with him and the AJP on 18 June 2012 and the court appearances by the suspects.
Now, Advocate Chauke mentions Advocate C.S. Mlochwa. I want us to hasten to get to Advocate Mlochwa's affidavit that you refer to and Madam Chair has also referred to it, which is attached to your letter to Advocate Chauke, which is marked as B6 on page 240 of your bundle, where you were making a request for further information relating to decision made by you as the DPP Gauteng, Johannesburg. Now go to...
Pardon again, Counsel. You said SB6. Is it not SB5A? That is the sworn affidavit by Advocate Mlochwa attached to her affidavit.
Yes, I was still on SB6, Madam Chair, which is Advocate Batohi's letter.
Where is the letter?
It's
SB6?
It's SB6, 240.
240.
Yes.
I'm sorry for that interrupt. Let's just get to that.
That's Advocate Chauke's
No, it's a...
letter to me.
Yeah, my mistake. It's SB5, actually. It's a mistake. Yeah, it's SB5, Madam Chair. I made a mistake. I apologize for that.
SB6.
SB5. SB6 is Advocate Chauke's response.
Yes, I thought that you are now addressing or asking Advocate Batohi to deal with that affidavit of Advocate Mlochwa,
Indeed, Madam Chair.
which is SB5A.
A in 236. That is so.
Yes.
Go to SB5A 236.
Yes, I'm there.
On top there, it's written Silverton, CAS. It's not clear as to what number it is there, but it's of 10. Looks like it's 2014.
That's correct.
Explain this CAS, Silverton CAS. What was it all about? Why did he deposed to an affidavit in this matter, Advocate Molocho.
So CAS numbers are granted when a docket is open in a police station. And so the CAS number, the police station would be reflected initially, and that is Silverton. In this case, it's Silverton Police Station. And then CAS is the CAS number. It's unclear what the number is, but the second number reflects the month, and the third number reflects the year with relation to a criminal docket that would have been open.
The affidavit that Advocate Chauke refers to in paragraph 95 of his affidavit on page 273, which you earlier referred to, affidavit of C.S. Molocho. This is the same affidavit that we are now looking at, SB 5A.
I'm not sure. Where's the other document? I need to check to see it's the same document. Or are you telling me it's the same document? I apologize, Chairperson.
If I may, Counsel, remember SB 5, which I mentioned, is mentioned for the first time in the affidavit of Advocate Batohi under the rubric of process leading to the referral to the President on page 69 of her affidavit. But of course, that SB 5 addresses also the issues relating to the Boyson's matter. In other words, it refers to the broader issues of both the Boyson's matter and the Mdluli matter. So if you can probably look at it, it is there, Counsel. SB 5 is mentioned for the first time at paragraph 161.
That is correct, Chairperson.
Now, Advocate Chauke says, Advocate C.S. Molocho's affidavit is dated 23 July 2015, and this one is dated 12 May 2015. It is not the one that he's referring to, not so. Do you see on page 237, the date when it was deposed to is 12 May 2015.
Yes, I see that.
Now, it is not the one that he's referring to because this one is dated 12 May 2015, not so.
Sorry, I'm confused. Which is the one he's referring to?
I'll take you to the one that he refers to. It's on the next page. He says it is dated 23 July 2015. Go to the next page and look at 238. Page 238.
Yes,
There's another affidavit there by Advocate Molocho. Do you see that?
Yes, that's correct.
Which is dated the 23rd July 2015.
That is correct. I see that.
So that is the one that he's referring to.
Sorry, I'm confused, Chairperson. I'm not sure who's referring to which statement.
Let me take you back to 95.
Page 95 or paragraph 95?
Paragraph 95
of
LO1, which is the affidavit of Advocate Chauke,
Just a second.
in which he says he has read the affidavit of C.S. Molocho, dated 23 July 2015.
I'm with you.
Yes. Now, I'm saying to you, this one on page 238 is another affidavit deposed to by Advocate Molocho. Do you
That's
see
correct.
that? Dated 23 July 2015.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, can you read it into the record?
Which one?
The one on page 238.
I, Cyril Simpiwe Malochwa, hereby state in English that on 23rd July 2015, the investigating officer, Major General Chalo, requested me to hand over the emails referred to in my statement dated 12 May 2016. Emails herewith. That's the content, and then it's the oath after that. It's signed, and there's the oath.
If you go back to the previous affidavit, you will see that the paragraph on page 27, which is the last paragraph of Advocate Molochwa's affidavit,
I beg your pardon? Paragraph?
it's not marked. It's not marked or given numbered, rather. It's not numbered, but it's the only paragraph before the commissioning, before the.
Is that the one with handwritten 491?
Yes, Madam Chair, with the old bolded number 156. Do you see that one?
In the bolded number?
156. But the correct number, the paginated number is 237, SB5A 237.
Counsel, you are taking us all over the show. Where are you?
I want the witness to confirm the issue of emails and tie it with the exchange of emails between Advocate Molochwa and Advocate Chauke.
Are you finished? Are you done with SB 5A 236? That's the affidavit of Advocate Molochwa. I thought that you were there.
I am there, Madam Chair, because it goes to the second page. Yes, it goes to the second page, 237.
Yes.
Now, Advocate Molochwa in this paragraph says, I thereafter exchanged a number of emails with Advocate Chauke, copying in Advocate Jiva, her personal assistant, and Advocate Majokweni, requesting Advocate Chauke to give me the prosecutor's memo or report as per initial agreement.
Which paragraph are you at?
237, where the affidavit of Advocate Molochwa ends.
Yes, I'm
where
there.
he has deposed, where it is commissioned.
Yes, I'm there.
Now, he says on 12 June 2012, Advocate Chauke's personal assistant, Ms. Mamiki Suping, emailed me only the indictment without the prosecutor's memo or report. Can you read that into the record?
On 12 June 2012, Advocate Chauke's personal assistant, Ms. Mamiki Suping, emailed me only the indictment without the prosecutor's memo or report. I thereafter exchanged a number of emails with Advocate Chauke, copying in Advocate Jiba, her personal assistant, and Advocate Toko Majokweni, requesting Advocate Chauke to give me the prosecutor's memo or report as per the initial agreement. My acting appointment came to an end on 9 July 2012. I never had anything to do with the matter after 9 July 2012.
Now, this ties with the exchange of emails you referred to earlier
That's correct?
in LO4, page LO 1011.
Do you want me to go back there?
You don't
No,
have to.
that is
I just
correct.
wanted you to confirm whether it ties with that.
That is correct.
Thank you. Now, go to SB6.
And if I may, this aspect that you are asking the witness to read into the record has a direct link to the terms of reference. If I'm correct, which one?
Madam Chair, it has a direct link with paragraph 3, paragraph 3.1, yes, paragraph 3 and 3.1.
The institution of the racketeering charges.
It will, yes, indeed.
I beg your pardon.
No,
I
no,
beg your
not that.
pardon. His direct or indirect conduct.
Indeed, Madam Chair.
Please give me a second. If you may unpack that aspect for me to understand clearly this alleged direct or indirect conduct, how and to what extent it impacts on the prosecutorial role of Mr. Mlojo, Advocate Mlojo.
Mlojo or Advocate Chauke, Madam Chair?
Advocate Mlojo. The indirect, the direct, or the alleged direct or indirect conduct of Advocate Chauke's conduct, how it impacts on NDPP Advocate Mlojo's jurisdiction or space.
It will become clearer as and when we proceed to lead evidence, Madam Chair. However, for now, Advocate Mlojo was the acting DPP in KZN.
No, I understand that.
Yes.
You are busy leading evidence. And this evidence is really the crux of the case because Advocate Batohi is laying the foundation of why we are here. And we need to understand this foundation correctly. Because other witnesses, as you referred to Advocate Mlojo, are going to either confirm their affidavit, the contents of their affidavit, or the evidence of Advocate Batohi. So I don't want us to have that disjuncture. We may just lose the connection. That is why I keep on taking you back to the terms of reference so that we understand the relevance of this evidence to the terms of reference themselves. I don't know whether it helps you, counsel, but we get confused because we keep on referring us to bundles or legal opinions, and we just need to get it right to understand how you link this evidence to the terms of reference. And I thought that as we address this evidence, as you go along, you'll keep us on telling us that this is the aspect that is relevant to the charge at paragraphs 3.1, 3.1.1, etc. It will help me to understand the evidence of Advocate Batohi. I don't want to derail your line of the train of thought, Council, but if you may also help me. I am told that this is a tea break. If you feel that I'm overbearing on you, it's fine. We will get clarity at the later stage. Maybe you can proceed when you reconvene, and I'll note all these questions on the side so that I don't interrupt you.
No, you're not overbearing. You're perfectly entitled to the clarification, Madam Chair. I thought I had made it clear that the evidence that she's leading pertains to 3.1, but I'll take it a piece for a better understanding and for the comfort of everyone.
Yes.
Yes, I'll try and take it a piece.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Council. We will take Advocate Batohi. We take a tea adjournment. It's already closer to 11:30. We will adjourn now and reconvene at 11:45.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We adjourn for tea.